Good morning. Good morning. It's Friday and it's going to be a beautiful day. So try and get outside and enjoy it if you can. Yesterday, if you remember, I shared about handling the storms of life when they come. And then later in the day, amazingly, I read a devotional that spoke about the very same thing. And in it, the author said, most of us don't don't give focused thought to hardship and suffering until we experience them. And because we are often caught off guard, our first response is usually, why? Why this? Why me? Why now? Problem is, we've been taught that it's unchristian like to ask why. If we're believers, then how can we ever question anything? Where's our faith? But we know life isn't fair. No one is exempt from the storms of life. This coronavirus is proof of that. And even if we know the theological explanations, they bring no comfort in a crisis, in a hospital room, or a funeral home. The thing is, we want down to earth answers. We want to know why our life is so miserable, why things are so messed up, and where is God in the midst of all of this? When you get ordained, you have to write this big ordination paper that addresses all these theological issues, and you have to state your position on them and other things. And then, like a dissertation, you have to defend it in front of a large number of people from all the churches in your association. It's a little stressful, but it's the end of the process. However, prior to this, you have lots of meetings with smaller groups who also question you to see if in their opinion, you even qualify to move up to that final phase. And in one of those meetings, someone asked me whether I've ever had a moment in my life when I had doubts or questioned God. Now, of course, the answer is yes. Who doesn't? But at first I wondered if this was a trick question. Was he just being curious, or was there some underlying thing he was looking for to disqualify me? I thought about what he might want me to say, what might help me in the process. And then I said what I really felt. I said yes. As a matter of fact, I did. Actually, I don't know whether I'd qualify it as doubt, but I went through a very hard time once, and I did ask God why. But the question wasn't so much why was this happening to me, although I have asked that at times. I was really asking, why did it happen, period? And what was I to do now? See, I think sometimes we feel if we question God, then we have no faith in him. But I'm here to tell you that's just not true. There's nothing wrong with asking God why. It's okay. In fact, even Jesus asked. As he's hanging on the cross, he yells out, my God, why have you forsaken me? So does that mean that we, like Jesus, can ask God our hardest questions? Absolutely. In fact, I've been thinking that maybe that's the key to growing our faith. Just look at the Psalms. Over and over, the psalmist asks some of the most difficult questions. God, where are you? Have you abandoned me? Why are you silent? Will you save me? Yet these terrible questions never lead to bitterness or despair or lack of faith. Instead, they lead always to God, to praise, to trust, to hope, and to greater faith. See, the thing is, even when God doesn't answer our questions of why, we can still ask anyway, because often in the asking, we realize that we don't really need or want an answer as much as we want comfort, peace, strength, assurance that God really knows what we're going through, that he sees our situation and is going to jump in and help us. We simply want to know God cares and God's there. Truthfully, it took me years to finally understand and accept that God doesn't owe me an explanation for anything. He doesn't have to check in with me first before he does something. God doesn't have to get my permission before he allows things to happen in life. And I'm not always going to understand why some things happen. In fact, we will probably never know the answer to our whys this side of heaven. But during the times when you and I can't trace God's hand of purpose, when we don't understand why, we must trust his heart of love. We must trust that what he's done for us and others in the past, he'll do again. And we must trust that he'll meet us in our time of need and help us make it through. So, my friends, in the end, as we go through the struggles and storms of this life, I guess the question becomes, can you trust this God upon whom you have piled your questions? I hope your answer, like mine, is yes. Absolutely yes. Oh, and by the way, obviously my answer didn't affect my ordination because I've been a minister now for 15 years. So, stay safe today. Wash your hands, wear your mask, practice your social distancing, and never, ever lose hope. Somehow, some way, we will make it through this time we find ourselves in. So keep finding those blessings. And know I love you, and I'm praying for you. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. God bless.